Welcome to OHP Uncut, our raw, uncut, unedited interviews from Open House Party. My name is Kannon. Please subscribe to the podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the Open House Party channel. New content every week. And today, Adam Levine from Maroon 5. The new song is Beautiful Mistakes with Thee Stallion. So we're going to talk about that. Also discussing that new big-ass tattoo that he's got. Have you seen this? It, takes up his entire leg. So we're going to find out what the inspiration was. Did he have to ask his wife permission to get this big ass tattoo? Adam Levine also has some wardrobe advice for guys in their early 40s. Dads. Most of them don't dress as well as Adam Levine. We're going to find out Adam's do's and don'ts when it comes to that. New music from Maroon 5 on the way. We're talking about it today with Adam Levine. Thank you so much. Follow on social at Kannon Radio. Spell Kannon with a K. It's OHP Uncut. And this is Adam Levine.
The OHP Uncut Podcast with Kannon.
Adam Levine, how are you, man?
Good. How you doing?
I'm very good. How's it been going lately?
Good. You know, it's interesting times, but we're got music coming and we're excited and everything's good.
Got a little stiff neck today, man.
You know, I didn't, but then all of a sudden, kind of a little bit. I'm all right. Working out.
My whole body hurts, man. I'm your age. I don't wear it nearly as well as you do, man. I hurt constantly. That's kind of the way I am.
I feel like that's just part of what happens when you get a little bit older, but you just have to actively combat it constantly. So that part of it gets exhausting, but I'm a freak. I love to exercise a lot. I probably like to do it too much, actually.
Yeah. And you dress well. It seems like a lot of guys our age, forget, you could still put some thought and effort into how you dress. How much thought do you put into that? Or do you just kind of wear what you want and it just happens to be cool?
Well, the only thing you can't do, I think, when you get to our age, early 40s, I mean, look, this is just a personal thing. Maybe I don't want to speak on behalf of everyone, but maybe stay away from the tight pants. I feel like maybe we need to give those up. I think once you turn 40, it's unless you're unbelievably so freakishly thin as a person forever, and you're one of those kind of people, I just feel like maybe the tight pants, maybe they have to go. But then you can do a bunch of other fun shit, like wear sweats, which happen to also be incredibly trendy at the moment. So we're lucky as early 40s men because we get to wear cool sweats. And you know what? It's all good. No one's going to argue with us about that.
No. Where do you find yourself buying most of your clothes? Is there a site you go to or?
No. I'm lucky to have a stylist who helps me. He narrows down my choices.
And unlike many men our age, I don't guess cargo shorts play a big role in what you have in your closet.
No. Although I just got my leg tattooed, so I'm never going to wear pants again.
Oh, dude, I saw that, man. It's your entire leg. It took 3 days, right?
Yeah, it's healing up right now. It's doing well. It's a little scabby, but it's good.
That has to hurt like hell, and it's going to take a long time to heal.
Yeah, it's actually no, it's pretty close though. You know, I thought it would be much worse than it is, but yeah, it hurts. Oh man, it hurts. It hurts so bad.
So, where did you get the idea for the design for that? I loved it, by the way.
I'm a humongous fan of just really traditional Japanese body art, and there's a lot of different kind of. It doesn't have to always be traditional for me to like it, and there's a lot of kind of variants of that style that I love, and Nate Kostechko is awesome, and Brian Randolph, my two main dudes I work with a lot. And Nate did it, and he's just he's super, super stoked on how he's excited. He got to do a kind of a big piece because a lot of big tattooers don't always get to do the big stuff.
Yeah.
Big, everyone kind of wants something on the smaller side. So it was just a lot of fun, and we, got to know each other even better. And that's when you get tattooed for a long period of time, you really get to know the person that's tattooing you. So we had a great time.
Doesn't make it hurt any less, but it is somehow easier to get the tattoo.
Man, I'm not gonna lie, dude. There were some moments that were pretty gnarly. Like my knee sucked. Knee is not a fun situation.
Did you have to run, or I don't say have to, you don't have to do anything, but did you run that by your wife beforehand? Were you I'm thinking about getting a giant, big ass piece down my leg? She
loves it. She, nice. The only thing she would, she's more a quality control assurance person where it's if I have an idea and she doesn't mind the scope and the scale of it. I think she's happy that it was waves. Cause it's just all waves basically.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are things that I could have suggested that she'd be like,
You know what's great about it though, man? It's going to look good for the rest of your life. It's not going to be one of those things that's trendy and goes out of style. It's one of those like timeless pieces. It's going to look good forever.
I think that with tattooing, I think that's a really important thing. That you have to remember is that I don't care that I'll be tattooed and I'll be an old man. Actually, I think that's pretty badass. But you want to make sure that you go. There are classic kind of motifs in tattooing that will always hold up. That you don't have to worry about. Like you said, in 30 years, like what the fuck is this? Unicorn on my thigh.
Why do I have Bart Simpson on my chest?
Oh man, there should be a whole page. There should be a whole Instagram account dedicated to Bart Simpson, bad Bart Simpson fail tattoos.
So how's the music been coming then? Have you been sitting around in COVID writing music, and now we're just getting starting to hear it, or is this pretty recent?
Yeah, it was a gradual process because I think that when this whole thing started and we got sent home, basically we were in Argentina and we were about to play in Buenos Aires. Like literally, I remember it's so. I had this really zen kind of peaceful moment. I was on this beautiful balcony at this incredible hotel in the most beautiful part of Buenos Aires, and I was looking out kind of off into space, and it was a very quiet night. And I just remember being, on a personal level, just feeling so incredibly happy about being able to do this for a job. I mean, I remember I had this because being on the road for me had been hard in the past and not always gone smoothly, and had its, I'm a homebody. I like to be home. I don't love to travel. I'm glad that traveling has forced me, or music has forced me to travel. But I had this great moment, and I was so calm and peaceful and happy with everything. I think it's important to reflect sometimes. And I had this great thing, and then and I remember it was like, and go home. Tom Hanks just got COVID. And then once Tom Hanks got COVID, it was this kind of strange indicator that it was to be taken seriously.
Yeah, that is exactly right.
I don't know why that happened that way, but that was when everything got kind of canceled. So went home and started making music and didn't really know what was going to be, what would come of it or where it would wind up, or I didn't have any agenda, which, to be honest with you, is kind of a really cool way to remember to go about it. You're like, I'm just going to make music and I guess put an album together. Although it was so uncertain at that point that I just wasn't sure, which kind of freed me up to kind of just not care and do as much as possible and have it become this more organic process that took about a year, honestly. So, and we just kept going and going and going. And it was at home and, it was like this. I recorded like this all day long. And we slowly but surely got a record together.
Did you have an idea of like what kind of sound you were going for when you went into it, or did it just, take on a life of its own?
I think that if you're really honest about what material, like what kind of material you want to write and what material you're drawn to, and it kind of finds you if you're really honest with yourself about what you're digging. And so whatever this is, and I've stopped trying to aspire to do something. I don't like to set out to do it. At this point, it's been a long time, and I used to go in there and say, like, I want to make like songs in the key of like, I want to make a Stevie Wonder record. Oh my God, I'm obsessed with Ghost in the Machine. I want to make a Police album. Oh, hey, I want to make a soulful, Motown record. I've done that a lot. And I think that would often tend to pigeonhole me a little bit and kind of put me in a place where I was doing something that was like self-consciously trying to be like something else. So at this point, I'm just like, whatever I love. And that's the genre that I'm after at this point.
Wait, now that you can listen back to it and hear it, what do you have a place you could put it? Can you say, how would you describe it to someone who's never heard it then?
Some of it is very it's all very moody, I think. There's a lot of mood because I think that a lot of us were experiencing a lot of mood, meaning we were at home and we were not in crowds of people, and there's something about, I think, wherever you are at any given moment consistently is usually what winds up translating onto tape. It's not a genre thing. It's more just like I was alone a lot, not alone, but I mean, we weren't social. So, okay, there's that. I was spending a lot of time with my family. So there were some lyrics on the record that were about that. It's funny. It's just kind of, there are certain songs like that I will always listen to and think to myself, wow, that was a wild moment because we were in the first month of quarantine and nobody knew, like Nobody's Love is the song that I really selfishly wanted to release just because I thought it was a beautiful moment, this kind of unknown. And so that was purely selfish. Just wanted to put it out. We didn't know what was going on in the world. Nobody did. So I'll never forget that song. Will always have like sense memories attached to it. So I think it's just one of those kind of records. I made it at home. It's very intimate. It's very moody.
You mentioned some elements of your family being on there. Can you talk a little bit about like what those elements are, what you said, and where it was coming from?
Yeah, I did this song with a few different people, but song One Light, and I ended up just the lyrics kind of just really gravitated towards that like kind of Marvin Gaye, kind of reflective, kind of more obtuse, like what's going on in the world, like that kind of stuff. And I rarely go there with words, but it just kind of felt like honest, and the lyrics that came out of me on that record just were very natural, and Ant Clements and I did the melody, he did a bunch of melodies and I did a bunch of lyrics with him, and kind of interpreted some of these beautiful melodies. He writes insane melodies, so talented. And just like that moment was cool because it was a different moment for me. I'd never done anything like that before. So really kind of gotten super personal and super introspective, or at least haven't done that in a while. So, that was cool. And it was just a lot of great moments on this album. Just so many great writing moments.
Isn't it crazy to think you've been doing it this long and you can still surprise yourself with something you can say, I've never done that before? I mean, it's like... Yeah,
I think if you're not doing that, it's when you start to get in trouble,
Yeah.
You want to always be kind of half really invested and half really nervous about whether or not anyone's going to dig it, like if you're not scared, then you're not doing it right, kind of thing.
Oh, wow. Good quote. Good soundbite.
I hope so, man. I hope so, man. Sound bites are fucking scary these days.
No shit. Yeah. We live in a soundbite world. What about Megan? How did you choose her to be on the song? Love it, by the way.
It's Megan was so it was like just, it was more just like, it's not like we scour the earth for, she's having a moment, and so in that moment we approached her and we were like, my biggest thing is I always like to do collaborations with people who are in a different zone, like I don't know how great it would be she's so different and she comes from a different world musically, but it only adds to what we do. That's why we do features. And, that's the most exciting thing about a feature is that you could put these two artists together and make something that's even more special, I think especially on our end, like we really needed her on it and she fucking crushed it. Just like did such an amazing, like I've talked about it a little bit, it's one of my favorite features because the way she broke it down, it really didn't feel tacked on. It was really, it was its own dynamic. It had its own dynamic on it in and of itself. So it was the way it added to the song was like invaluable. Like I'm so pumped. It brought the song to where it is now. Like it would never have gotten there without her.
Is she going to join you on the American Express show and do the song with you?
She couldn't make it to that because that came up super quickly and we had to put that together really fast. So she'll be represented. Yeah. She'll be represented well in it, but she's not going to actually be there for it. We're going to hopefully do some performances with her as things, hopefully, fingers crossed, start to open up a little bit more.
And are you working on a full album? Is that how it's coming together?
Oh yeah, album's done.
Nice, man.
It's coming soon.
I was going to say, if you wanted to give the date, you probably already would have.
I couldn't give you the date if I knew, but I know I know the general area. I know the time. I'm not supposed to divulge too much, but.
Got you, man. We'll be watching you. March 30th is at American Express Unstaged, I believe it's called. Yeah.
And I'm really thrilled about that, how that concert wound up. Like I'm so happy that we got to do that.
It came off good. Where did you record that? You like find a sound stage and do that, or how did that work?
Well, we wanted, the original idea, I guess, was to try and do it in a theater or something. But I thought to myself, why? There's no people in it.
Yeah,
it's much more. That's why I don't understand. Sometimes I wish the NBA would just like play in like a small high school gym because there's these huge arenas, these huge buildings, and they're so like noticeably empty when you're watching.
I will say that like out of all the sports, though, I think the NBA has done the best job of kind of making it feel intimate by putting the electronic fans and shit like that. I think that looks pretty good.
credit where credit is due. And also the audio is epic. Like it really, when you're listening, when you're watching the game, it's like, it sounds like there's a really big live crowd. So they did a great job. I just felt like, in a weird way, there's more interaction. It's a little different because, there's spectators at a sporting event, but at a concert, you want to feel more connected to the audience at any given moment when you're talking to them or when you're near them. That's a really hard thing to do. So I thought to myself that why not just create an experience that we can kind of curate ourselves that's in a building with no seats in it. It was like a soundstage basically, where we have limitless possibilities to what we can design. And Sophie Muller, who's one of my favorites ever. She's a legend, video director, and we've done a bunch of our earliest songs with her, videos with her, and I knew she would kill it and come up with an amazing concept, and it's super cool.
How did you compensate for the no audience, like in your mind as an artist when you're performing? How do you compensate for that when you're on stage?
I'm honestly by not even bothering to pretend. Like I don't think it's cool to. From what I've seen, at least, it doesn't work when it's not flesh and blood concert.
Yeah.
Because look, like think about it. When you go to a sporting event, you're there to watch the sporting event. You're not there to be interactive necessarily in the sporting event. It's not like there's not going to be a moment where LeBron James is like, you over there in the 10th row.
No.
Like,
well, if so, it's probably not good. Any interaction.
Yeah. There's the interaction isn't exactly the same.
No.
So rather than try and kind of strangely fake it or manufacture something that feels more interactive, which to me, so it just hasn't been easy to accomplish that in these times. I just thought, why not give them a really beautiful, well-designed, interestingly lit, incredible sounding show and just sing my face off and sing my heart out. And that, if that should be enough. And also look, we don't have dancers and singers, we don't have we don't have much fanfare. We're pretty, when it comes down to it, we're pretty normal. We just play our music kind of thing. And I thrive on an audience. And so I think that because we didn't have one, it would have been weird and kind of silly and futile to kind of try to create that energy when it didn't exist. So this is totally different. It's much more of an artistic thing. I hope everybody loves it. I love it. We wanted to go inward on it, if that makes sense. That's probably the best way to say it. Okay.
And is there a lot of the new album on there?
I think we're doing 2 new songs, 2 new ones. One that no one's ever heard, and obviously Beautiful Mistakes.
All right. We're going to give away tickets here on the air and on social as well. Open House Party and Kannon Radio. Thank you, Adam. Always appreciate your time, man. They're going to cut me off soon. We could talk forever. I always appreciate your time, man. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, dude.
The OHP Uncut Podcast with Kannon.